And hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I know you don't recognize me. My name is Tim Childree. Brian Mallard, who is usually your host, is actually on vacation this week. So we're doing something a little bit different this week. And that is, we are going to have a little roundtable discussion on using what you have to create art. My guest in the studio at this point, they both have appeared here on a multiple number of times, is Mr. Shane Pittman. He is an actor. He is a writer. He is a director. He has projects going on right now, such as Reloaded, which is his podcast. He has the Epidemic movie series. He's actually fixing to go into part 2 of that. Catherine Childree, which will be on your left hand. I hope I got that right side. Left hand side, she actually has businesses such as Let's Vocalize. She has a singing seamstress. She also is a performer, and she is, believe it or not, a minister. And she has just started a delve into FES, and I'll let her kind of tell you what that's about. And believe it or not, she is my wife of 11 years, so she's got her hands full just babysitting me. So guys, give her cred for that. Anyway, we want to start this thing off, and I wanted to start it off with a question to Catherine, and I had told her, and actually Shane, before the broadcast, that I was going to hit her theological side and ask her the question that if each and every one of us has been created by God, and God is pretty much the ultimate creator, does that therefore make each and every one, so we have the creation want instilled into every one of us?
I mean, I agree. Yes. I think that all of us in human nature, every human being on earth has been given some type of creative gift, but it's up to that individual to delve into that, to discover what their gifts are and how to make them better or stronger, or what we need to do to actually, to actually improve on those gifts so we can use them to benefit mankind or whatever.
Okay. And since we got that kind of nailed down, the next one would be the art question. And it's kind of an iffy question on this one. And we were talking earlier about, a lot of times art, people kind of get pinned down. Other people tend to tell them what their expectations of art is. And I think that's a mistake a lot of people make. And a lot of times art is not in the eye of the beholder as much as it is in the soul of the artist itself. That, just because you do something that someone else doesn't like does not mean that it's art. And with that said, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. We're going to go with Miss Catherine first, and she is going to pretty much go down her journey as far as really from having that want as far as to create, and really not having everything that she has now, but she's going to give you a kind of a short summary of how she got to where she was. So I'm going to turn this over to Catherine.
Okay. It's going to be interesting to try to cram my little bits and pieces of my life into the few minutes of time that we do have. Speaking from a creative vantage point, I think I'm going to jump into my singing seamstress work that I do, because in the seamstress work, it involves creating, it involves designing, it involves starting from nothings to make something, as far as the doing alterations and all that. But I started sewing, gosh, when I was in junior high school. Didn't know that at some point it would blossom to where it is right now. But I've always done little things like making little doll baby dresses and little things that of that sort to just out of pleasure. And then as I got older and, got married and had children, then I started to working with my little boys and taking their father's pants that he would, get rid of. And I would cut them down, make a little pair of shorts, make a matching bow tie, to go with the shorts, and then put them on a white shirt. And they had their little outfits, and so it kind of all started from that, and doing household things like making matching curtains. And one of the little things that I used to do was taking when we would buy like comforter sets for the boys when they were little babies. If I wanted a set of curtains to match the comforter set, I would take the flat sheet from the comforter set and make curtains out of that and put a solid sheet in there. So they had a whole set without me having to pay a lot of money to buy, draperies to go with their comforter sets. So just a little bit of things like that, when you have, I found out a long time ago that when you don't have much, or you grow up not having a lot, that you have a tendency to draw from little giftings that have been placed in you to create and to grow and to learn and to make ends meet. Being a single mom with 3 boys, I had to come up with different things to make ends meet. One of the things that I did was my seamstress work. Another thing that I did was I began to pull on the gifts of music that I had in me. And I've always been a singer. I started singing at the age of 5 and 6 years old, involved in school choruses and involved in a lot of different things that were school related. In every school I was always in the chorus and did a lead part. In churches, I was always in the choirs and did a lead part. Eventually, those gifts of singing lead began to turn into people wanting me to teach them how to sing, because they said, wow, you sing so good. Can you teach me? Of course, I was trained also when I got in high school. I had a music teacher who actually celebrated me, and he felt I needed to be celebrated. And so he started training me how to sing classical music, and I was trained professionally to do all different types of operatic music and classical stuff and foreign languages, German and French and Italian and Spanish. And so they would take me on trips with them, and I would sing in these big cathedrals and these churches in formal attire. And so I started singing that way. But even though I sing the classical and even though I sing the operatic style music, growing up in the Black gospel church, I couldn't bring that there because it was not always as accepted. I can hear my mom now saying, that's nice, baby, but can you kind of bring, like, Jesus can work it out? Can you give us some old school stuff? So I had to literally retrain my voice and start singing music in a style that was acceptable by the Black gospel church, because, of course I am Black. And coming from that background, the music that I was trained to sing, I didn't always sing that at my home church. But anyway, so I ended up having to retrain my voice. And as a result of that, even though I retrained my voice, I still have the classical overtones and some operatic overtones in my voice. So I have a tendency to sing a lot of my gospel music, more ballad style music. I don't sing a lot of the hopping and jumping stuff, but I do a lot of more ballad style. And so people begin to ask me, can you work with me? Can you help me? And so I started directing choirs at the age of 16 and 17. And as I directed choirs, my ear for harmonies and music began to grow so extreme to the point where I can literally hear every voice part in my head. I hear the soprano part, alto part, tenor part, bass part. And I began to work with choirs at the age of 17, teaching and training them and helping them to find their voice parts. And so people would ask me, can you come to my church and help me with my choir? And I said, sure. And I would have people at times saying things like, my choir, we have a problem with our choir. My choir sounds awful. And I said, I can make your choir sound good. And they're like, I can't believe that. So I would travel. I mean, this was at the age of 18 and 19. I would hit the road when I got off work from the credit bureau, because I worked for Equifax back at that time. And I would get on the road and I would travel to different churches and different places to work with choirs and teach them, the different voice parts. I would have to break the whole choir down, put everybody in their right voice parts by just listening to what they were singing. And before you know it, we had 3-4 part harmony in choirs that were told that they sounded awful. And so, it just kind of evolved from there as far as the music part of it. And that has traveled with me literally from the time that I was 18 years old. Everywhere I've gone, I've worked with choirs and worked with groups and worked with, singers and things. And so this is kind of, taking off.
So pretty much your, I guess, your experience and your enjoyment that you now have has evolved from necessity.
Mm-hmm. Out of necessity.
But did you have anybody, this is one question I really wanted to know. Do you have anybody cultivate it at the young age, like your gift? Did you have somebody bringing you up saying, okay, why don't we get you involved in this and get you involved in that to kind of, cultivate your gifts that you had?
I did. My chorus teacher was one that had me involved in singing, and he would carry me to different schools. I was singing in the elementary schools and some of the high schools, and then different performances like My Fair Lady and different school shows and different shows we had in the city and little things like that. I was always involved in doing those things. And I think one thing I teach my students is that when you're developing your vocal gift, it is a repetition that builds the vocal muscle. And the more you do the same thing over and over again, the stronger your gift becomes. Your voice becomes stronger, your chords become tougher, and you find yourself being able to tackle vocal obstacles that you couldn't tackle maybe a year ago, because the more you use your gift, the better it becomes, and so that's one of the plus factors in exposing yourself. And I tell my students, get some exposure, because there are some that I have that literally are already gifted, but they don't have anywhere to use their gift. So I say, hit these karaoke places and these sports, the sports bars or whatever you want to go to, your church or your youth choir or your junior choir or whatever, the downtown Thursday night, when they have open mic night, go to those places and use that gift, because the only way you're going to develop a stage presence is to get on stage and use your voice.
Exactly. Which really is the meaning of this discussion, which is, hey, you're using what you have
exactly
to actually develop into something better into the future.
Exactly.
And I tell you what, right now, we'd like Catherine to very quickly kind of tell us what she is. I know right now with her ministerial duties, and she also is delving into another business venture, and I'll let her quickly explain that before we go to commercial.
I am, as well as being a seamstress, which I do a lot of stuff. Prom season is crazy right now. And being a vocal coach, I also am a field trainer in a business called FES, which is Financial Education Services. And in my financial education services business, what I do is help people with credit restorations, people that have negative things on their credit file, to help repair those, to help them to get their financial status back to where it needs to be, so that they can apply for homes and cars and get good insurance rates and mortgages and all that really, really cool stuff, as well as that as part of that financial education services plan, there is a package called FESPP, which is a protection plan that literally involves everything from a will, trust, power of attorney. You get access to your own portal where you can go in and see what's going on with your credit file as it's being repaired, where you actually have 24/7 access to that particular portal that you set up after we get you in the system, where you can see what's going on with your credit. The credit bureaus letters are generated to you that you sign and send back to the credit bureaus for them to fix whatever it needs to be fixed. We have a team of attorneys, 60+ attorneys that work with us in working on your behalf to help getting those things cleared up. LifeLock is a part of the protection plan package. They help after your credit gets secure and after you get your score gets raised to where it needs to be. Immediately you become a target for people that want to steal your identity. So LifeLock is on board with us now to help facilitate making sure that your identity is safe, and as well as those are the primary things. You get Smart Credit app that shows you how to actually manage your debt like you need to, so you can stay on board. And then there's a Debt Zero area of it that educates you on certain things that you can do to literally get out of debt faster, where you can put all your information in and it'll formulate a plan to help you actually pay off everything without making any extra money, using what you have to get out of debt a little bit faster.
Okay, and you heard it here first. And believe it or not, I do want to make the point one more time that art is not always about music or marble or creation. A lot of times it's just doing the best that you can do with what you've got. I've seen personally, like I said, I've been married to Catherine 11 years, and she still amazes me every single day, because she pops up with something new, and she uses her imagination to actually come up with ideas that I probably never would have thought of, and it's very impressive. I'll tell you what, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back and we're going to have Shane. Shane's going to come and tell us his journey, and stay with us. By the way, I wanted to tell you, if you do have any questions for our guest, and you're watching with us live on YouTube right now, and there is a comment section. You can put the questions there. We'll be more than happy to pass them along. If you are watching this at a later time, maybe you're out right now and you're watching this tonight sometime, or at night, I should say. But shoot the questions to us here at the show. the show dash Columbus. I'm getting tongue tied. The show dash Columbus, and that's our Facebook page. And we'll be sure to get those questions to Catherine or Shane, and I know they will be more than willing to to answer them. But right now, like I said, we're headed to a commercial. We'll be right back with Shane.
Hello, I'm Catherine Childree with Let's Vocalize. For over 35 years, I've coached vocalists and groups privately. I also perform vocal workshops training choirs. I'd love the opportunity to show you how direction, discipline, vocal health care, and regular practice can drastically improve you, your group, or your choir's performance. Call me at 706-536-6123 or visit us online at www.letsvocalize.com. I'd love to help you offer your best gift.
Okay, we are back, and one more time, welcome back to the show. And our discussion today is making, or I always mess this up, guys. I truly do. Using what you have to create art. I don't know why I can't remember that. My memory's just not what it was. We have just had a discussion with Catherine Childree, and she's gone over her journey from I guess having nothing to where she is today. And right now we are going to talk to Mr. Shane Pittman. And I wanted to go through his accomplishments really quick one more time. Shane is an actor. He is a director. Yes, I have it written down. He is an actor. He is a director. He has his own podcast. It is called Reloaded. And that will be picking up again very soon. He is currently on his second part of his, what would you call it, episodal or movie? Or
Well, it's it's a sequel to, it's a short film, but it's a sequel to the first part of it, and really excited about that. A lot of things in the works. In fact, we're going to be filming by the end of 2017, or 2016. It's going to be premiering in 2017.
And wow, I'll tell you what, and that is called The Epidemic. That is the name of it, and I'm going to let Shane go from here on. He can tell you where you can actually see part one, so when part two comes out, you will be caught up. Shane, take it away.
Well, like he said, I'm Shane Pittman. Got a lot of things in the works. How it started out, anyway, for me, early age, is my mother, actually. She saw gifts in me that I didn't at the time, and like I talked about before on a previous episode I was on, is she is very excellent in writing and things of that nature. And she saw those gifts in me. Like I would try to write just mimicking my mother. Like I saw her writing, so I would go and say, okay, let me write something. Let me see if I can halfway get similar to what she does. And my mother was like, hey, this is really good. You need to do more of this. And of course, when you're at that age, you're thinking, okay, that's my mom. Of course, she's going to say, hey, good job.
Yeah.
It could be horrible, and she'd still say it was good. But
we do that.
Yeah.
That's moms.
Well, that's why we love our moms. That's why we love our moms. But what happened was I would start doing more and more of it, and it got to the point to where it was something that I enjoyed. It wasn't just something I was doing to impress my mother anymore. It was something that I really like to do. I like to create different stories, different scenarios, and like to write it down. Like to write poetry, which I don't do as much anymore. I'm more in the screenwriting side of it now. But it started from there. The writing cultivated into music. I like to write music, and I play a little guitar here and there and sing and do that. And then from the writing side, it brought about this whole film making thing, which, 2 years ago, never would have thought in a million years that I'd be doing something like that. But it's a passion of mine that I love. Of course, I love my family. They're the forefront, but it's a passion that's right after my family and everything like that. This is something that I love to do, and it's something that I think I want to do for a very long time. So that's where the epidemic, the second part's coming in. Still in, writing the drafts, because there's plenty of drafts you have to do. And once you get into writing, you'll know what that's all about. And that's the fun part, is trying to correct all of the mistakes that was in the first and the second and the third. And but it's going to that. It's, the second part is the epidemic restitution, which is basically showing how the character Jim deals with and kind of gets some resolution to everything that was going on in the first. And if you don't know anything about the epidemic, it's about a guy that and we have an air show here, so you're probably hearing some
yes, we have an air show going on near us, guys. So
so you're probably hearing all that. But the epidemic is about a guy named Jim. He finds out he has cancer, and through a whole bunch of things, mysterious virus is also thrown into the mix. And eventually his wife contracts this. His wife ends up dying. He's thinking the whole time it's going to be him because he has cancer. His wife gets this, catches whatever this is. She ends up passing away, which I wanted to relate to people. That's life. Sometimes we think something is going one way and you get a curveball and it kind of hits you, and it hits you hard. And basically from there, he struggles with the question of, do I want to live or not? Do I want to move on from this? I've lost everything. I'm sick. My wife's dead. This virus seems to be growing rampant. Do I even want to live anymore? Do I even want to keep going? So basically the film explores that. In the second part, you'll see a little bit more of what he decides to do and what he finds out. So that's basically it. With me, is Fusion Project Reloaded is the podcast. And we started that 3-4 years ago, and it has grown. We've got a lot of support now. And it's basically, our slogan is, there is no box. A lot of people say, think outside the box, which is the show thing, which I love it. I love this slogan. But ours is, there is no box. We're not going to confine anything. It's basically, everything's fair game. So everything is going to be talked about. Even if it makes some people uncomfortable with certain subjects, we're going to discuss it anyway, because in real life, that's what happens. Exactly. We have these conversations a lot of times that really are uncomfortable, and we really don't want to talk about it, but it's healthy to talk about it, because you get to find out the deep down soul of a person per se by talking to them about something they really don't want to talk about. But you'll find out a lot about that person doing it that way.
Not to mention, Shane, you find another perspective. You get a chance to actually explore another person's perspective, because sometimes we do lock our own selves in a box mentally to the point where we feel like, my idea is the idea. Yeah. But then when you start mind merging with other people, you begin to find out that somebody else has another opinion as well as yours, and their opinion to them is just as valid as your opinion is. Well,
it's very true, and you hit on something. It's whenever you get the other perspective, you grow.
Exactly.
A lot of people,
that is so true.
A lot of people are stuck in this opinion mindset where my opinion's right. Well, guess what? Those are the type of people that never grow.
Close-minded.
They never learn. They never grow. You never see them mature. But the ones that kind of sit back and say, okay, as much as I hate what you just said, you're right. You have a lot of things that are on point. And guess what? Those people grow. And as long as we're breathing, we need to be learning and growing.
That is so true.
And we have an opportunity to. So it's
like water. Stagnant water stinks.
You're exactly right. But flowing water is life.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's life and it's growth.
It is so true. So true. That is so true.
Okay, Shane, I know that I personally wanted to ask you something. I know a lot, especially doing with video right now. When you were beginning with video, I know a lot of people, if they watch your movies, are going to see a lot of excellent camera work, but it wasn't always that way, was it?
No. No. And see, it's interesting, and it's a long story. So I'm going to
Okay,
keep
go
it.
ahead, Shane.
I'm going to keep it very, very short.
Okay.
But it started out with cameras, these little things that didn't have HD in them at all. So there were these cheap $20-$30 cameras that you just point. They're little handheld cameras. And it started from there, and seeing a lot of things that were not good at all. The filming was horrible. But again, that goes back to the growth. I learned a lot and said, okay, let me research this a little bit, how I can make this better, or what equipment would be better to use that can make a better result. Of course, in the beginning, I had no money at all. So I would use what I had. I'd have my phone. I would use that. I would use different angles and learn how to do things that way. Then I was like, maybe I should network with people that have a better handle on this, and let me do my writing and other things that I can utilize my time that way. And from there, I networked with Lights Out Industries, Barrington Productions, who knew all about this camera angles, who had the $1,000 worth of camera equipment. And I was like, okay, but I knew how it worked, but I got to utilize my skills and the gifts that I had and utilize them and let them do their thing, and then network with them and piece it all together. And that's where you would see the epidemic side. But you're right, it didn't start there, but you have to start somewhere. And I think there's a lot of people out there that they have these great ideas. They have this passion in them,
right?
But then they let fear overshadow that passion and make it to where it stunts anything that is going to progress. Something that could grow and be beautiful, they're covering it up.
So true.
They're covering it up because of that fear. So my suggestion to anybody that's watching out there is don't let fear stop you, because I had so many projects that I put on the back burner and said, you know what? Nobody's going to want to watch this. Nobody's going to want to read it. But then I determined, and I listened to other people, write it, finish it. Even if you think it's no good, to one person it may be. Write it, complete it. That's how you learn to get better. It may stink. It may be horrible. It may be the worst thing that anybody will ever read in their life. And there may be no positive. But finish it, because that's how you learn to get better.
That is so true.
When people are telling you it stinks, don't close up and say, oh, well, I just stink at this. I might as well just give up. Take that as an opportunity. Okay, well, what about it isn't so great that you didn't like? Listen to them, then correct yourself.
Yes.
That's how you learn. Once you do that, there's nowhere to go but up. If your project is not that great, there's no way to go but up. You can't get any lower. And that's what I've learned. I think a lot of people need to know, don't give up. If you're passionate about something, you have that passion for a reason, which means find out how to make it happen and do it.
Explore it. I heard a saying one time, the only person that's never failed is a person who's never tried.
Exactly right. That is exactly right.
And that fear that he's talking about a lot of times just doesn't stunt your growth, because what you don't realize is the thing you have to offer can enrich humanity as a whole. So you're actually shorting
other people,
everyone. That's true. That's true.
And, that's the case with you both.
Well, I mean, you take it with music. If she didn't share her gift and vocalize it and let people hear, people would not hear a beautiful voice. With filmmaking, if with me, I'm not saying I'm a great filmmaker, but
I am. I think you are.
He's Steven Spielberg Jr., ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, you know what?
He's even got the beard.
I'll take it. I'll take it. But if any story that I have in me, if I don't get it out, nobody will be able to see that part of me. Like
it's so true.
And with music too, it's all an art. How we were talking about it before.
So true.
It's creation to a degree. It's creating something. You get to do that, which is really cool. You get to create music. You get to
Yes.
create this beautiful sound coming out of your mouth. You know that people are not going to hear unless you do it. Same with me. You're not going to be able to see my story, see different parts of me that I'm passionate about, get to be on paper
Exactly.
and then be on film unless I actually do it. And there's a lot of people out there that need to get that out because people need to see it. People
And-
need to hear it.
And that's one place where we both can identify in that words from my perspective come through in music. Words from your perspective come through in writing and on the screen. And I tell my students all the time that there is an audience out there waiting for you.
Yep.
You know, and depending on whether or not you have the guts enough to really project your gift or put yourself forward, the very thing that you have to offer could literally change not just somebody's life, but it could literally change the world, because for every life that you change, that life affects somebody else's life, and it's a chain reaction, you know, and eventually, you know, you can change the world.
Well, you know, I know that at least with my situation that I used to love music, and I always thought that maybe, you know, doing recording, something of that nature, that was something that I was going to go into. But, you know, I guess it's kind of like Shane said earlier, life sometimes throws you a curveball. And mine was you know, lost my hearing to a certain degree. And so, you know, I tried to go in something a little more visually oriented, that, you know, I could use my eyes, that, you know, my ears didn't have it anymore, but maybe my eyes do. And, you know, hey, let's have a video podcast.
There you go.
So, you know, get what you have together, you know, do what you can.
Well, and you think about this too, and this is something that a lot of people need to think about. Think about your gift. Think about something that you're really good at. And think about if you always keep it bottled up inside. And a lot of people say, what am I here for? Well, maybe your gift and sharing it with people is why you're here.
Exactly.
Is why everybody's here. Maybe we have something. Think about it this way. Maybe we have something to bring to the table, so collectively it makes the world a better place, or it makes situations better. Your gift, if you stifle it, you stifle it down and you don't let it out, will kind of throw a chink in what needs to be happening, you know, in your atmosphere, in your life.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's something that I'm really passionate about telling people about, because I was that person that was afraid to do anything and to let, you know, my story out. And finally I just said, okay, if one person likes it, it's enough for me.
And I tell you what, guys, right now we want you to be able to sample each one of their gifts and actually see what they have accomplished. So I'm going to go to Catherine first and let her tell you where you can hear, where you can see her businesses, where you can get in touch with her over the internet. And Catherine?
Okay, for my Let's Vocalize, I have a website. It's www.letsvocalize, LETSVOCALIZE.com. That is my website. I also have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Let's Vocalize. For the seamstress business, it is a Facebook page, facebook.com/Singing Seamstress. Since I am a singer, I'm a seamstress, but that's my Facebook page. And for the financial education, my website is myfes.net. I'm sorry, /C Childree, CHILDREE. That'll take you directly to my financial education services page. And I also have a Facebook page on that, which is financial education and credit restoration services. That's with Facebook.
Okay. And Shane, how about yourself?
Well, we've got the podcast side is fusionprojectreloaded.com. You can find me on Facebook is Shane.Pittman.75. You can find it there, or you can just look up Shane Pittman Columbus and you'll probably be able to find me there.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter is @starring Shane, STARRING Shane. Also, The Epidemic. If you want to watch The Epidemic, you want to check it out, the first part of it, you can just type in The Epidemic on Vimeo and it'll pull it up. or Lights Out Industries, either one of those, and you'll
Or
be
you
able
can
to
go straight to
straight
the
to
show.
Yeah,
Dash
straight-
Columbus. I was
Hey,
waiting to see if you got that. But
there you
didn't.
go, straight to the show. That'd be the easiest way.
Exactly.
Just go to the show, and you can check it out. And
Take you straight to Vimeo.
right, and then the second part's coming out. Be able to check that out, and that's pretty much it. That's how you can find me.
Excellent. Well, guys, I want to thank each and or both of you actually for coming in and sharing part of your Sunday with us. I know you could be working on your various projects or be with your family, but you chose to spend it with us.
I am.
And each one of our viewers, and we thank you so much. I guess, I was telling Shane earlier, one of my favorite writers is Seth Godin, and I kind of want to at least leave this discussion with one of the things he said, and that is, you have everything you need to build something far bigger than yourself. So, go out, look what you have, find ways you can use it. And, if you have to, ask questions. And, you can find out you can do a whole lot more than what you ever thought possible. And these two are examples of that. Next week, Mr. Brian Mallard will be back with us. Our guest then will be Miss Kayla Lippert. She is working with multimedia for the Ledger Enquirer, and she actually has a very inspiring story herself. So we'll be here next Sunday at 4 p.m. We hope that each and every one of you come join us, come see us. And yes, actually, right now I'm trying to get something done here. So, okay, everyone, wave goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, you have a great weekend. We will see you next Sunday.